You're probably failing at this already. Not because you're lazy, but because you're approaching one meal a day the same way you've approached every other health change in your life. Roughly 80 to 90% of people abandon restrictive health changes within the first month. Not 3 months, not a year, 1 month. And it's not because the method didn't work. It's because the person using it never changed. They changed their actions, but they left their identity untouched. You can't build a cathedral on a rotting foundation. I don't care how good the architecture looks on paper. I learned that the hard. What if your body was never designed to be fed constantly? What if eating all day is the anomaly, and eating once is the original signal? I'm Old Man Otto. I've been Lean Leo. I've been Heavy Henry. And I've been the man stuck in between, smart enough to read the books, stubborn enough to ignore what they were actually pointing at. I used to believe discipline would save me, that if I could just try harder, everything would fall into place. It didn't. Identity did. Picture the chamber for a moment. Stone walls, cold floor, the air still enough that you can hear your own breath. At the center, carved into ancient rock, a glowing symbol, the letter A. Not for aesthetics, for ancestry. Lean Leo stands to the left, calm, efficient, not thinking about food, not afraid of hunger. He's not counting minutes. He's not bargaining with himself. He's not waiting for permission to eat. Heavy Henry stands to the right, restless, anxious, planning his next meal while still chewing the last one. He calls it fueling. His body calls it noise. Both want the same outcome, but only one is aligned with biology. Here's the first trap you need to see clearly. You think OMAD is about willpower. It's not. Willpower is a short-term tool for long-term systems. That's why it burns out. You can white-knuckle a day, maybe a week, but eventually the system wins, because systems don't negotiate. They outlast you. OMAD only works when it stops being something you're doing and becomes something you are. A hunter doesn't snack. And no, that's not poetry. That's endocrinology. Let's talk insulin, because this is where most people get emotional instead of mechanical. Every time you eat, insulin rises. That's not evil. It's necessary. Insulin is the hormone that tells your body to store energy, to build tissue, to repair damage. Without it, you die. The problem isn't insulin. The problem is permanence. When insulin is elevated all day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, drinks, bites, you teach your cells that energy is always coming. And when energy is always coming, your body never needs to access what it's already stored, so it stops listening. That's insulin resistance. Not because you're broken, not because you ruined your metabolism, but because your environment trained your biology to expect constant input. I remember waking up hungry every morning, not real hunger, panic hunger, the kind that feels urgent, almost moral. Like skipping breakfast is irresponsible. Like something bad will happen if you don't eat immediately. I thought that meant I needed food. What it meant was my insulin never had a chance to fall. You don't become insulin sensitive by eating less. You become insulin sensitive by eating less often. That distinction changes everything. OMAD creates one clear signal. You eat once, fully, deliberately, and then you stop. No confusion, no constant negotiation, no background noise asking, should I eat now or later or just a little? And in that silence between meals, something ancient wakes up. Now slow down. This is comprehensive. If you don't pause to think here, you'll turn OMAD into another trick, and it will fail you like the others. Take a breath. Good. Let's walk the internal timeline, slowly, without drama. Hour 0 to 4, the insulin lock. You finish your one meal. Let's say it was a feast, steak, eggs, nutrients. For the next 4 hours, your body is busy. It is in storage mode. Insulin floods the system. It takes that energy and pushes it into your cells. This is the lock. Think of your fat cells like a bank vault. Insulin is the guard standing in front of the door. As long as he is on duty, nothing comes out. You cannot burn fat. Physically impossible. The enzyme that burns fat, lipase, is asleep. This is normal. This is healthy. The mistake isn't the lock. The mistake is reopening the door with a snack 3 hours later. The mistake is keeping the guard on duty 24 hours a day. Hour 8 to 12, the false alarm. This is where Henry breaks. This is mid-morning, 8 to 12 hours after your last meal. Your stomach growls. Your brain feels a little pull. You think, I need food. Biology says, no, you don't. This is ghrelin, the hunger hormone. But ghrelin is a liar. It doesn't measure your fuel tank. It measures your habits. It rises because you usually eat at this time. It's a memory, not a requirement. Henry panics here. He feels the wave and thinks he's drowning. He eats the donut. He resets the clock. Leo notices the wave. He knows it's just a chemical echo. He waits 20 minutes. And guess what? The wave breaks. The hunger vanishes. The guard goes home. Hour 16 to 20. The metabolic pivot. This is where the magic happens. Insulin finally clocks out. The guard leaves the vault. The door swings open. Your body realizes no new food is coming. It doesn't panic. It adapts. It switches fuel sources. It stops burning the cash in your wallet, sugar. It starts burning the gold in the vault, fat. Your liver takes that fat. It converts it into ketones. This is the moment Henry fears, but Leo lives for. Ketones are super fuel. They burn clean. No smoke, no fog. Your brain loves ketones. The sugar fog lifts. The afternoon crash disappears. The mental static goes silent. This is hunter mode. You feel focused, calm, alert. Not euphoric, functional. Now ask yourself something honestly. Would it make sense for a hunter to be foggy? Or would nature reward the one who could think clearly when food was scarce? Binary logic. Either hunger sharpens, or our species wouldn't exist. Hour 20 to 24. The cellular janitors. We're deep now. 20 hours in. You haven't eaten. You feel amazing. Your body looks around. It sees no new proteins coming in. So it gets efficient. It starts cleaning house. This is autophagy. Auto means self. Phagy means eating. Your cells start eating their own junk. Damaged proteins, recycled. Old mitochondria, broken down. Viruses hiding in the corners, flushed out. This is your internal anti-aging system. It won a Nobel Prize. But your body has been doing it for 1,000,000 years. You can't buy this in a pill. You can't get it from a juice cleanse. You have to earn it with silence. And here is the final piece. The one Henry screams about. But what about muscle? I'll lose my gains. Good question. And it's where shallow explanations collapse. Muscle loss isn't governed by how often you eat. It's governed by growth hormone. When insulin drops, growth hormone rises. Not a little, significantly. In some studies, up to 5-fold. Why? Because the body is smart. It says, we are fasting. We need to hunt. We cannot afford to be weak. So it shields your muscles. It puts a force field around your lean tissue. It forces the body to burn fat instead of muscle. That's why the body of a fasting human doesn't resemble the body of someone starving. Starvation is disorder. Fasting, when chosen and understood, is ordered. I remember the first time this really clicked for me. I was convinced I'd lose strength. I said it confidently. Out loud. 3 weeks in, my lifts were stable. My recovery improved. My joints felt quiet. That wasn't luck. That was growth hormone doing maintenance while insulin stepped aside. Why does this system exist? Why do we have these hidden gears? Because for nearly all of human history, there were no grocery stores. There were no refrigerators. There was no DoorDash. There was only the hunt. Our ancestors didn't wake up to breakfast. They woke up hungry. They moved first. They ate later. The rhythm of humanity is simple. Effort, then feast. never the other way around. We are the only animals on Earth that eat before we work. Every other predator waits. Every other predator earns it. The humans whose minds sharpened under hunger survived. The humans who fell apart? Who got dizzy? Who couldn't focus without a snack? They did not make it. They didn't pass on their genes. That's not philosophy. That's selection. You carry those genes. You are the descendant of the survivors. You are the descendant of the hungry. The problem isn't that OMAD is extreme. The problem is that modern life is 6 meals, 16-hour grazing windows, constant insulin, constant inflammation, constant digestion. Metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch fuel sources without fear, is your birthright. OMAD restores it. Now, responsibility. This is where we draw the line. Because powerful tools require careful hands. This isn't for everyone. Not for pregnancy. Your body is building a life. Don't restrict the bricks. Not for breastfeeding. Not for eating disorders. If you use food to punish yourself, OMAD will just be another whip. Not for children. Not without medical guidance when conditions demand it. There's a difference between discomfort and distress. Learn to tell them apart. Discomfort is your stomach growling. That's growth. That's the body learning. Distress is dizziness, confusion, heart palpitations. That's danger. If you feel distress, you stop. You eat. You try again another day. We are building a machine, not breaking one. OMAD will expose your coping mechanisms: boredom eating, stress eating, reward eating. When food stops being the solution, you have to face the problem. That's the real boss fight. So let's structure this, not as rules, but as a game. Welcome to the OMAD protocol. Think of your day as a simple mission where you eat just one deliberate meal, taking the time to sit down, chew, and really taste your food because respecting your fuel matters. The rest of the time, you're free to stay hydrated with water, black coffee, tea, and some salt while keeping your body moving, especially with a walk before dinner to get your engine running. You will definitely run into some predictable challenges like friends saying you're starving, boredom making you want to snack, or the scale getting stuck. But you don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Just stay calm and trust your body. As you stick with it, you'll naturally start to level up. First, the brain fog lifts for mental clarity, then the hunger disappears as you adapt to burning fat, followed by gaining control over your emotions around food, and finally seeing your body shape actually change. By the 3rd month, this won't be something you are trying to do anymore. It will simply be who you are. I'll leave you with this. Imagine your body right now. It has been working for you for decades, without a day off. Every second, your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your liver filters, your cells repair. It does all of this without you asking. It does all of this while you constantly interrupt it, while you constantly flood it with sugar, while you constantly keep the insulin lock on. When you fast, when you give it that 23-hour window of silence, you are finally giving it a break. You are finally letting it catch up on its paperwork. Can you imagine your body saying, "Thank you"? Not in words, but in energy, in clarity, in strength. Does a lion need a meal plan to be lean? Or does it simply live in alignment with what it is? Your body is not your enemy. It's the only home you'll ever have. Treat it like the miracle it is. So, where do you stand? Are you ready to stop feeding the machine and start trusting the organism? Let me know in the comments. If you're one of the few who wants to reclaim their birthright, to feel what it's actually like to be a human, subscribe to Ancestral Prime. Let's return to our peak together. Stay strong. Stay curious.